The government launches trial scheme for a drone-based low-altitude economy. A fire on board a flight coming to Hong Kong from the mainland. And the man was sentenced to almost 4 years in jail for rioting. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. The government is setting its sights on turbocharging the city's low-altitude economy in a bid to bring more drone-driven convenience to people's daily lives. A government trial scheme was launched today, allowing 38 pilot projects to test the use of drones in different scenarios.
2, 1.
In lockstep with the direction of the mainland's strategies to developing its low-altitude economy, Hong Kong's own low-altitude economy regulatory sandbox pilot projects officially began and are set to take off next month. Among the 72 applicants for the trial scheme, 30 were approved to undertake 38 projects. Some firms have experimented with drones for surveying use or delivering medical supplies to patients. Trial efforts of drone delivery services too at the Science Park and Cyberport. Next step is to fly drones to send goods to outlying islands, with a goal to commercialize the service in the future. CLP has been approved to use drones to monitor electric cables to cut manpower and improve efficiency.
低空經濟開展八仙過海。
Officiating the launch ceremony, Chief Executive John Lee said the sky is the limit as the low-altitude economy brings countless opportunities, and the drones can help promote the Smart City initiative and a diverse economic development of Hong Kong. The government also said they are targeting to launch the second phase of the low-altitude economy regulatory framework after around 6 months of data collection from the first phase.
The trial of the sandbox projects will help us to accumulate experience and data in order to enable the government and relevant departments to map out and devise a comprehensive infrastructure support for the execution of the various low-altitude economy activities.
The government said they will study relevant mainland and overseas policies and standards to expedite the development of the low-altitude economy. The pilot projects of the low-altitude economy regulatory sandbox include using drones to automatically inspect buildings and slopes and to deliver medical supplies. Here's how they work. This drone may look similar to regular drones for aerial photography sold in the market. But its thermal imaging cameras can generate a 3D model of the building it captured. With an AI-powered system, the operator can gauge the condition of the building's exterior wall in real time. The company that developed the system said the diagnosis has an accuracy rate of 80%, with the inspection accuracy rate boosted to more than 90% after human cross-checking. The inspection time can be reduced from 30 days to just 1 day. Now the tech firm will test its unmanned flying devices to work on its own.
If we set a dock station, the drone can automatically fly within our preset path. At the back end, in the office, we can also remote see the real-time streaming, the analysis, and that means more application in not only building inspection or infrastructure inspection, but also the drone patrol, the logistics, for the medical, the food delivery. All these applications could actually happen in the city.
Currently, Hong Kong laws require the operation of drones to be monitored by remote pilots or responsible persons. Under the low-altitude economy regulatory sandbox, it allows drones to be trialed with more flexibility under specific environments or signal stability to collect more flight data. Under the regulatory sandbox, approved companies can test their cargo drones within specified frameworks. They include this project by China Mobile, which will work with Princess Margaret Hospital to deliver medicine, plasma, and medical supplies with drones. 10 nearby 5G base stations will support the geolocation of the drones. This team is also trialing an upgraded 5G-A base station at Science Park. Employing a technology similar to the airspace management principle of airports, the team can control the flight range and access information of each drone. The National Immigration Administration has announced it will open online services for temporary mainland travel permits. From today, Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan residents can register temporary digital permits online to travel to mainland cities by air and train should they lose, damage, or forget their permits. The temporary e-permit is valid for 7 days. People can apply as many as twice per month via the NIA's 12367 mobile app. A Hong Kong Airlines flight traveling from Hangzhou on the mainland to Hong Kong was forced to divert to Fuzhou mid-flight after a fire broke out in the cabin. Some passengers say the blaze was caused by an overheated portable charging device. Timothy Lee tells us more.
Video provided by passengers showed the flame emerging from the overhead compartment. Other passengers could be heard in the video saying that they couldn't put out the fire even after using the fire extinguisher. Cabin crew and other passengers were seen passing down bottles of water and even tea and juice in an attempt to extinguish the blaze. Their effort was ultimately successful, with the overhead compartment now severely blackened from the smoke. The plane was later diverted to safety at the Fuzhou Changlin International Airport. Local fire services, personnel, and police were placed on standby. The affected flight, designated HX115, departed from Hangzhou at 12:56 p.m. and was initially set to reach Hong Kong at 2:56 p.m. Those on board included 160 passengers and 8 cabin crew members. Some passengers recalled how the incident suddenly happened when the plane was still flying at an altitude of 10,000 meters. This passenger said there was a loud bang before smoke started to fill the cabin, adding that the fire burned for a long time. Another passenger said there was nothing anyone could do at the time, and that they could only pray for a safe landing. Reports said the blaze was caused by an overheated portable charging device. This after a similar incident happened earlier this year when a charging device was suspected of starting a fire on an Air Busan flight. In a bid to prevent such fires from happening again, South Korean authorities mandated that passengers must place the batteries of the portable devices in a plastic bag when boarding planes. They are also barred from charging the devices while flying. Airlines such as EVA Air and Thai Airways have already followed suit. Meanwhile, Hong Kong Airlines said they arranged another plane to bring the affected passengers back to Hong Kong from the Fuzhou Airport at 9 p.m. Timothy Lee, TVB News.
A man who fled to Japan after being involved in a riot in Wan Chai in 2019 was sentenced to 45 months in prison. This after he admitted to one count of rioting after he was arrested upon his return to Hong Kong. The incident happened on the 31st of August 2019 when the 27-year-old surnamed Chan was involved with a crowd of rioters that blocked off roads and attacked police officers with petrol bombs in areas around Admiralty, Wan Chai and Causeway Bay. Chan fled the city in January 2020 before settling in Japan and was arrested upon his return when he tried to visit his sick mother. The judge criticized the rioters for openly challenging authorities and disregard for the law, stressing the need for imprisonment. Authorities reduced the starting point of his sentence of 5 years to a 45-month prison sentence after taking into account his pre-trial guilty plea. A study pertaining to loan requests by foreign domestic helpers found that more than half of the FDHs surveyed have sought a loan. Some of their employers have even faced loan-related harassment. The survey was conducted last month by the Democratic Alliance for the Betterment and Progress of Hong Kong, or the DAB, and involved more than 240 foreign domestic helpers. The study indicated that around 40% of their employers face harassment because of their FDH's loan-related problems, as many of them would list their employer's address as their own. The DAB suggested that Hong Kong could examine Singapore's policy of placing limits on unsecured loans and set up a database for foreign domestic helpers' loan records. In its latest move to hold back China's dominance in ship production, the Trump administration has proposed to slap huge port fees on China-built ships or vessels from fleets that include ships made in China. The levies could add up to $1.5 million. Industry experts say the proposal would push up export costs and create uncertainties in America's embattled coal and agriculture markets. Danny Zhou has the story.
U.S. President Donald Trump has launched a plan to charge steep fees on China-linked ships calling at American ports. And he's drafting an executive order that would rely on funding from a U.S. trade representative proposal, according to Reuters. Ahead of the USTR hearings slated for March the 24th, Complaints from major US exporters and transport providers poured in, saying the potential port fees have curtailed the availability of ships needed to carry agriculture, energy, mining, construction, and manufacturing products abroad. Some struggling vessel owners have refused US coal shipments. CEO of X-Coal Energy and Resources, Ernie Thrashner, warned US coal exports could stop within 60 days as the fee structure could push up delivered cost as much as 35%, which undermines its competitiveness. The American Petroleum Institute already warned implementing the potential levies would increase costs for energy exports. In its comments submitted to the USTR, the oil industry lobbying group noted the US would face more hurdles in exporting other energy products such as oil, liquefied natural gas, and refined fuels. The USTR also proposed that at least 20% of US goods should be exported on ships that are both flagged and built in the US. But the current fleet of US-flagged cargo vessels is standing lower than 200, and not all are US-built. To this, Shipping Association BIMCO said very few maritime operators will be able to meet demand. And LNG exports specifically would bear the brunt because there's no US-built, US-flagged LNG carriers in operation or on order, BIMCO said. Meanwhile, exporters of bulk agriculture products such as corn, soybeans and wheat may face additional annual transport costs of $372 to $930 million from the potential fees. This as American farmers are bracing for the tariff effects in Trump's trade war with China, Canada and Mexico. Danny Zhou, TVB News.
South Korea and the U.S. concluded a round of military drills with maneuvers in a small body of water near the border with North Korea. Helicopters brought in reinforcements for the water crossing exercise. A floating bridge was dropped onto the waterway to help more than 100 vehicles, including tanks, to cross the river. It was dropped onto the surface of the water. The platform expanded to allow passage. The crossing involved 600 troops from both nations. The commander on site said it helps to build teamwork and is a symbol of the US-ROK alliance. This drill wrapped up nearly 2 weeks of exercises between the two countries entitled Freedom Shield. And still ahead, President Xi Jinping hails the local coffee as he visits Yunnan province. The Israeli military said it is retaking control of a key corridor that cuts off northern Gaza from the south. This as Israeli strikes killed at least 58 Palestinians across the Gaza Strip overnight and into Thursday. The United Nations compound in central Gaza was also attacked. Tracy Furness reports.
Chaos just moments after an explosion in this building housing United Nations workers. This man shouting, "There are people injured, call an ambulance." And this man showing parts of shrapnel from the blast. He said, "When they hit again, I backed down." Israeli military strikes between Tuesday and Wednesday hit this UN Office for Project Services guest house in Deir al-Balah, one of two guest houses hit. The deadliest strike occurred at around 11:30 local time, resulting in the death of one UN staffer and severely injuring several others.
In my opinion, this was not an accident. It cannot be categorized as an accident. It is at least an incident. What is happening in Gaza is unconscionable. I'm shocked and devastated by this tragic news.
The UN Secretary General condemned the attack, calling for an investigation.
The Secretary General strongly condemns all attacks on UN personnel and calls for a full investigation. He underscores that all conflicts must be conducted in a way that ensures civilians are respected and protected.
This as Israel launched a targeted ground operation in central and southern Gaza, aiming to create a buffer zone between the northern and southern parts of the Palestinian enclave. The operation was launched Tuesday shortly after Israel ended a 2-month ceasefire and resumed airstrikes. Meanwhile, US airstrikes pounded locations under Houthi control in Yemen Wednesday. According to the Houthi Al Jazeera satellite news channel, strikes hit Sana'a, Yemen's rebel-held capital, as well as their stronghold of Sada in Yemen's northwest.
President Xi Jinping visited Lijiang City in the southwestern Yunnan province on Wednesday, a day after wrapping up his inspection tour in the neighboring Guizhou. President Xi was in the modern flower industry park this afternoon and learned about their efforts to develop specialized agriculture tailored to regional conditions. Walking on the stone-paved streets in the old town of Lijiang, Xi was greeted by the tourists and locals and occasionally paused for chats. Some invited him to taste the locally grown Arabica coffee. Xi lauded the coffee produced in Yunnan is an outstanding Chinese product, and it is now gaining popularity overseas. During his trip, Xi stressed Lijiang should protect and utilize its captivating cultural and tourism heritage and follow a path of sustainable and healthy development. And that's the news. Thank you for watching.